God is able
Yes,
to do
yes,
what
yes.
he said he would do.
He was able to deliver the salaries over the weekend.
And more importantly, sustain us. Which was the bigger miracle, but he's like that. So amazing. Well, happy February, guys. It's the month of love, the month of chocolates, the month of everything. Absolutely yummy.
So far, you are mentioning things in which I'm not included.
Oh.
Love and chocolate.
I'm diabetic.
But love?
I'm diabetic.
All right.
Let's do the
go straight to the headlines, Kojo.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll start with the Finder this morning. Banner headline, over 5 million euros Airbus bribe. Which elected government official and brother were involved, is the question being posed on page 4. Also, political parties to receive a final electronic voters register in mid-October, according to the EC. Shelve Unipass and demand proven value above existing systems. That's Imani's call. And Malta High Commissioner promises to support Nanado's entrepreneurship agenda.
All right, the Daily Statesman, NLA empowers farmer with 126,000 Ghana cedis. Mahama in biggest corruption scandal, JDM's aircraft chop deal at the center of bribery case in the UK court. President Akufo-Addo tours Savannah and Upper West region.
Right now, on page 3 of the Today newspaper, you'll find details of their banner headline. NPP confirms romance with EC. NLA empowers Upper East farmer, and GCB Bank unveils G-Money mobile wallet. The two other stories on the front page.
All right, the Daily Guide, Mahama government in 5 million euro Airbus bribe scandal. NDC hopes dashed over new register. High Life star Kofi B dead, and Peace Council under NPP control, says John Mahama.
I've got the Gold Street business. Banner headline, Bank of Ghana willing and able to defend city through 2020. Also, SME financing initiative set for completion end of Q1. And a bit of good news, assuming the banks will act on it. Policy rate stable at 16%. 6th time running.
All right, the Chronicle, Proverbs 15 verse 27. Whoever is greedy for unjust gain troubles his own household, but he who hates bribes will live. Wow, the Chronicle. The actual stories on the front page. No payment was authorized at NCA without due procedure. Arrest GRC officials who okayed the test run of the Takrady-Takwa rail line. Upper East farmer wins that 126,000 CDs I was telling you about earlier on. MPP unaware of any presidential debate. That's according to General Secretary John Boydu. And of course, the headline on the front page of almost every paper, Airbus paid NDC bigwigs $5 million bribe, UK court.
It should be 5 million euros.
Euros, yeah. Well, the Chronicle is reporting it in dollars and not the equivalent, which is the figure.
Right, okay, Economy Times. And balance of payment improved significantly. Records 1.3 billion US dollar surplus. That's the big one. Also, government misses deficit target slightly. And Ghana's total debt stock reaches 214 billion Ghana cedis.
On the front page of the Business and Financial Times, Cocoa Board to rehabilitate 37,000 hectares of unproductive cocoa farms. Stop Unipass takeover of ports. That's Imani to government. And only 8% of funds have been recovered from the collapsed banks, and that's according to Addison.
Right. Now, speaking of Addison, Philip Addison, under criminal investigations, dragged into dirty forgery case involving $2 million by client, is the banner headline of the Herald this morning. It's accompanied by a picture of Philip Addison and Kenny Abua, CID boss, as well as lawyer Charles Zwenes. Details within. Also, Majority Leader declares himself demigod ahead of NPP parliamentary primaries. Is in the top right corner. Farmer wins 126,000 Ghana cedis with new NLA jackpot, and Deputy Attorney General runs from his previous position on revocation of Unibank license. That's how the Herald reports it.
Okay, well, the Ghanaian Observer, Airbus scandal will adversely affect Mahama's 2020 chances. That's according to Imani boss. NPP unaware of that debate, and Akufo-Addo also going on tour in the Upper West region.
I've got the new crusading guide where Ghana named in explosive bribery scandal as Airbus confesses paying bribes to facilitate business is the banner headline. Also on the front page, businessman picks nomination forms at English Yamanfrom. Arrest railway testing officer Osofo Chiriabosum is saying so. NLA empowers farmer from Upper East region with 126,000 Ghana cedis. And Imani speaks on trade at port revenue flows and NPP's 2020 victory assured. But work hard will cement it. That's Obri Yeboah's urging.
Okay.
Said work hard will cement it.
Like working hard will cement it.
I think they meant either that or hard work.
Hard work, yes.
Will cement it, yes.
Okay. Finally, for me, on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, and I must say that the Ghanaian Times is possibly one of the only papers that's not carrying the Airbus story on the front page. But anyway, their banner headline, 10,000 employees on payroll illegally. Auditor General vows to remove them. And there are a couple of conditions, details in the paper. 5 Tanakrom Methodist Church members die in road crash, and Kojo was in Apam over the weekend. So I'll bring you details of that story. But Kojo, did you know that last year, January alone, we lost about 190 people to road accidents? I'm trying to count how many so far this January. And it's looking like it's pretty close. So hashtag Arrive Alive. We'll bring you more on that a little later. President Ashanti Region Christian Council raise funds for National Cathedral and halt Unipass takeover of ports. Imani urges government.
So before Kojo brings the details of the stories we have, let me take you to myjoyonline.com. The top story there, 3 guesses what? And you were right if you guessed. Akufo-Addo tasks special prosecutor to probe government officials in Airbus bribery scandal. If you go on the carousel, the former government officials were not bribed by Airbus. Former Attorney General denies report. There has a picture there of Marietta Brew Apia Opon, who signed that statement, which will be bringing you a bit later in the news review. Akufo-Addo to visit Savannah Upper West regions is also here on the carousel. And fire guts Burma Camp Battalion market. The Burma Camp Battalion market. CCNewsroom.com has Akufo-Addo begins 2-day visit of Savannah Upper West regions to date, same as what was on myjoyonline.com. It also has the latest on the Airbus bribery scandal. Nana Akufo-Addo refers case to special prosecutor, and it carries that NDC response as well. It has Franklin Kujo saying the Airbus scandal will adversely affect Mahama's 2020 campaign. StarFM.com.gh saying 2 stories. The president referring the Airbus scandal to special prosecutor, and Marietta Brew Apia Opon saying that Airbus paid no bribe under NDC. Well, this one says Airbus paid no bribe at all under NDC. The other website said they didn't pay bribes to government officials. There's a reason why that difference is important, we'll tell you. Pharmacy Council official joins NPP race. That's also on starfm.com.gh. And High Life singer Kofi B is dead. Finally, from the BBC.com, this is the first time in more than a week that the lead story on the BBC is not coronavirus. It's rather the South London terrorist attack. And now the South London attacker has been named as Sudesh Aman. Did you know that the attack happened in Streatham? The MP is Bell Ribeiro Adi, who we interviewed on this show a few weeks ago. So a number of her constituents have come in contact with this Sudesh Aman, and our best to them and to her as well. But let's get the details of the story, shall we? And of course, we need to go on the Airbus to understand the first one.
Yeah, well, all aboard, because Airbus, as you already know, is one of the 2 biggest aircraft manufacturing companies in the world. They're based in Europe, and they're a multinational, no doubt. Now, let me give you a bit of the detail that the Finder has put together in a rather extensive spread on page 4. They're, first of all, talking about the amounts involved, okay? Airbus has admitted to paying bribes in excess of 3.5 million euros to a high-ranking elected Ghana government official who took office in 2009 for Ghana to buy 2 C-295 military aircraft. Now, you will remember, just last week, there was an incident in which a C-295 military aircraft overran the tarmac during a test
Yes.
at the Air Force. Now, as a result of that, there is an Airbus official in Ghana at the moment helping with the investigation to find out what happened to that aircraft. But that aircraft is one of the C295 military aircraft that was purchased by the government of Ghana. And in 2009 is when this deal was began. We'll give you more detail later, but I can tell you a few things. Airbus is admitting to the crime. That is the important thing. They are admitting 5 counts of failing to prevent bribery in Ghana, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, and Indonesia. So this was a big global investigation, and Airbus has agreed to pay almost $4 billion in fines. That's about 3.6 billion euros in total. There's so much more detail here, including the fact that the court in the UK and the US, by the way, because they also looked into this matter, are stating that the elected high-ranking government official was influential in having the government of Ghana approve aircraft purchases, and the individual contacted Airbus senior executives during the government approval process. Okay. Now, since this story broke yesterday, a number of statements have been released. The NDC were first to the post with a statement under the heading "Former Attorney General rebuts reports on Airbus bribery claims." It's not a very long statement. Let me see if I can do all of it. It says, and I quote, "Our attention has been drawn to media reports about a deferred prosecution agreement entered between Airbus SE and the United Kingdom Serious Fraud Office in respect of the practice of Airbus SE in paying commission to its agents and the use of those commissions. The reports alleging that Airbus SE paid bribes during the administration of Presidents John Evans Atta Mills and John Dramani Mahama are false, misleading, and do not reflect the approved judgment. Indeed, the approved judgment of the Crown Court of Southwark approving the DPA between Airbus and the UK Serious Fraud Office does not allege that any payment was made by Airbus to any Ghanaian government official. It is therefore a gross distortion for the media to conclude that officials of the Ghana government between 2009 and 2015 were bribed or paid any commissions by Airbus for the acquisition of the CASA C295 aircraft. This is signed by Marietta Buru Apia Opong, who's the former Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
So notice there, Kojo, them saying that no government official was bribed.
Yeah.
No government official received any commission payments, right? Okay. Anyway, you bring us what government is saying about this before I tell you why that is very interesting.
Okay, well, the attention of the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has been drawn to a 31st January 2020 judgment of the Crown Court at Southwark in the United Kingdom between the Director of the Serious Fraud Office and Airbus SE, in which the European Multinational Aerospace Corporation has been fined $3.9 billion for the payment of bribes to secure deals in 5 countries, including Ghana. According to the statement of facts in the case, between 2009 and 2015, a number of Airbus employees made or promised success-based commission payments of approximately €5 million to intermediary 5, who is said to be a close relative of a high-ranking elected Ghanaian government official, into brackets government official 1. Significantly, government official 1 was a key decision maker in respect of government of Ghana aircraft orders. The payments to intermediary 5 by officials of Airbus SE were thus intended to induce or reward improper favor by government official 1 over the purchase of 3 C295 military transport aircraft. Indeed, out of the €5 million promised intermediary 5, 3.85 million was paid between March 2012 and February 2014. President Akufo-Addo has taken notice of the judgment and its implications and has referred it to the Office of the Special Prosecutor to collaborate with its UK counterparts to conduct a prompt inquiry to determine the complicity or otherwise of any Ghanaian government official, past or present, involved in the said scandal, and to take the necessary legal action against any such official as required by Ghanaian law. Signed, Eugene Ahin, Director of Communications.
So anyway, you notice here that even the government statement says monies were paid to a certain intermediary and not the government official, right?
Yes.
Yes. So the only question here is that could it have been because the statement of fact, as we know, states clearly that Airbus made the payments to this intermediary for the purpose of influencing the government official. That is the purpose for which it made. It says here the payments were intended to induce or reward improper favor by a government official one towards Airbus, and so that is why the payment was made.
Right,
Even
and this is Airbus's own admission.
Yes.
They are the ones who made the payment.
Yes.
They are saying this is why they made the payment.
Exactly.
Okay.
So our bribery laws, this is where it gets interesting, and which is why I have this question: that could it be that this government official was indeed influenced, even though the monies were not paid to him? Because that is actually the definition of bribery that we have. That, first of all, I'll read the UK law. If a person directly or through a third party offers or promises to give any financial advantage to a public official or to another person at that public official's request or with his assent or at their acquiescence, which basically means that I know this is going on and I'm not going to stop it.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Our local laws also state clearly, and this is where it gets a bit interesting, because it states clearly that it could be in your interest, but it doesn't need to enter your hand. Okay? A person endeavors directly or indirectly to influence the conduct of a public officer. So it's just a question that I have as in the person may not have received it, but could it be that the person was influenced? That is something that we expect this investigation to really discover.
Now, later, when we go into how the U.S. court...
You mean the district court for the District of Columbia?
Yes. When we go into how they have narrated events in their court documents, you will find that they give a certain chronology into how the relationship was established between Airbus and Ghana. And that might give us a clue as to whether or not the government official was removed from these transactions. By removed, I mean distanced.
Great.
From these transactions, or whether he was actually quite involved.
And that is why you need to stay tuned to today's show, because we'll bring you all the details as uncovered by the US and the UK, and also the fact that Malaysia has started investigations already
as well.
So has Sri Lanka.
So has Sri Lanka.
Yep.
Okay, but another thing we were very interested in over the weekend.
Oh gosh, and it has been a terrible weekend,
I know, right?
Daniel. In terms of accidents, there's been quite a few this weekend. There was one last night, a Tema motorway accident between a Sprinter and a saloon car, both of them traveling towards Tema. The Sprinter was behind the saloon car. The tie burst. It rams into the saloon car. The saloon car goes to the side of the road, but the Sprinter somersaults was a commercial vehicle, killing at least 6 people. Rest of them are in hospital. Then, of course, there was also the Apam 5 Tanochrome Methodist Church members who died on the spot on their way to a funeral, and apparently they were almost there. Kojo was telling me earlier on, because he was there. They were almost at the funeral that they were going to, and then this happened. So we've lost a minimum of about 17 people over the weekend.
Did you say that at Spintex it was the best tire that caused the accident?
Yes, it was a best tire.
That's exactly how my friend died.
Yeah, it was a
my friend who died last 2 weekends.
Oh.
His tire got burst.
Wow.
And then he slammed into a tree. The car attempted to somersault, but what it did was it hit the tree and it got back down. It was thrown out of the vehicle. So you'd see in the pictures that the fender of the vehicle is wrapped around the tree, and the roof is totally crushed into the seats. Yeah. And he's nowhere to be found.
It's so tragic. You know, I went to Apam yesterday.
Yes, tell me.
And by the time I got there, none of the casualties or the patients who were admitted to the St. Luke's Catholic Hospital following the accident, none of them were still there. So 4 of them in critical condition had been referred to the Central Regional Hospital in Cape Coast, and 10 of them had been discharged after treatment, but 5 of them passed away, and that is the tragedy. The 5 were all women. They were seated near the rear of the Toyota Hiace van, and unfortunately, the police tell me that this van was overloaded. It has a capacity of 14 people, but there were 19. Okay, so 18 members of this church wanted to go to this funeral in Agona, and they all somehow cram themselves
in there.
Yeah, so including the driver, that's 19 people. Oh, so there were 5 people over.
Yes.
And 5 people died. You know, that's the tragedy of this matter. Later on the show, we'll talk a bit more about it. We'll find out how the collision occurred, according to the police, and then we'll find out a very interesting situation that the St. Luke's Hospital is facing when it comes to their emergency response to accidents like that, which unfortunately are far too often on their palm stretch.
We sometimes take these things for granted. Oh, let me just sit on your laps. Don't be wicked. Allow me to go with you. But that is exactly what caused the deaths. Now, guys, you remember Adum, right? The brother of this 10-year-old whom we interviewed over the week, who witnessed this horrific accident happening at the Dompuasi Junction on the Cape Coast Takoradi Highway. Well, yesterday was Adum's birthday. He turned 7 officially yesterday, and a number of our colleagues, editors at Joy News, went to celebrate with him.
Mommy's brother lies on a bed.
To you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Adom, happy birthday to you.
You know, it was his father's wish to have a great birthday celebration for him. Unfortunately, his father is no more, so we decided to, help him out and pay him a visit. It was a great occasion. Sometimes even in the midst of the greatest of pain, there is a reason to smile, and it was great to see a smile on Adum's face yesterday. Let's do the online news review, after which we quickly slip into the BBC News. It's brought to you by Zenith Bank, in your best interest, and Goyle Good Energy. Now, Goyle, your reliable energy partner, invites all motorists to continue to feel the good energy at Goyle. Enhancing your engine performance and prolonging the life expectancy of your vehicle is our top priority. So continue to get the best quality and value for money from Goyle Super XP and Diesel XP and our trusted range of lubricants, LPG, as well as other products and services from our over 400 service stations in the country. To all our valued customers, we say thank you. We value the partnership, and because of you, we are the CIMG Hall of Fame Petroleum of the Company of the Year. Let's continue the partnership to build our economy. Goyle Good Energy, Goyle proudly Ghanaian. Yanara Yedia. Now, life is always better when you have options. So Zenith Bank's POS now give you more payment options. If you want to pay with Momo, go right ahead. Want to tap and pay with any contactless Visa or MasterCard payment option, i.e. your card, phone, etc.? Look no further. Enjoy the convenience of making payments with your preferred payment option on any Zenith Bank POS. At Zenith Bank, your convenience is truly our priority. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. We'll be back.